Welcome to Attican Plays Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. All right, hi, this is Attican and welcome to Series 4, Episode 40 of Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. Now, I've been playing ahead. I've got a lot done and I want to catch everybody up on what's going on and kind of talk about, let's do a little bit of State of the Union. We're in 1980 now. We've been playing for 20 years, and let's just do a State of the Union and see where we are and set some direction for how we want to continue with this series. So we're starting out here with a view of Vidorov, our original starting area. Our refinery's down here kind of off screen down below us, but you'll notice something right up there that we're going to come back to, that big old building. We'll come back to that in a minute. But let's see what to do first. First, let's just do a health check of our nation. So we're up to 47,000, almost 47,800 people. We have strong education. We have a growing population. If we look at last year as an example, you can see our population is overall growing. I'm not sure how to show that. There we go. Nice slow growth. We've gained about a couple of thousand people over the year, I think. Some immigration because I did a bunch of building, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But basically, people are happy. We're getting some escapes, but not ridiculous amounts. There are quite a few escapes right there you see, but notice how they're all in one spot. That's just where I goofed up starting another community, and I'll show you what that is in a minute. But we're doing all right. We're doing all right. And money-wise, we're doing just fine. I mean, obviously, we got plenty of rubles and dollars. If we look at the state, if we look at last year, for example, you notice we lost 4 million rubles. Not really. I spent a whole bunch of money doing forgive me, auto builds because of the timing of the construction management. I will catch you up on the construction management we are doing and where we are with building out our building materials and all that good stuff. Why don't I just do it? Enough talking. Let's just start with the interesting thing. Shoot. We've got a TV station. We'll build a TV station up here. This area is where we had the community that we started to grow that goes down here and supports our chemicals and plastics and mechanical components. And now they also provide us with employees for our staffing for our television station. And you notice our television station, and we haven't really talked about this, and I don't know if everybody knows how this works. So we're going to go through the television station and one other cool thing that we have, which is, let's see, where is it? It would be right down here. And you'll notice, I don't know if you can tell that, but there's nothing wrong with me. I'm starting to get the first signs of lag again. And those of you who followed along the whole time know that I bought a whole new computer just to be able to play this game. Well, I mean, I wanted one anyway, but I have a fairly nice rig here, brag, and this game needs to be tweaked some more for performance because it is starting to lag a little bit. Now, granted, I am running on all the highest settings, so I have every display setting as high as it'll go. But just the same, with this particular rig, it should be able to do that. So there's some room there for some improvement. I'm sure these early access, typically they work on the major bugs, major functionality, and then at the end they kind of performance tune. And they do some performance tuning as they go if it gets really bad. So let's look at our two things. We have a radio station down here in Jedva Devolzhno, and we have a television station up in Lyaslav, which is up near Virov, our starting area. And you can see, if you've never seen this mechanic at work, basically what it does is based on how many people you have in here and how many people have a radio for this one or a television for this one, you get a certain effectiveness in terms of how you change or influence how people behave and how they think. and you can tweak these numbers to kind of drive the behavior that you want to drive. So, and there's all kinds of things you could do. For example, you could say, okay, well, let's just really, we keep having that religion issue. We could just crank this baby up so that this television station just spends all its time telling you how you shouldn't be praying. So, forgive me for this sacrilege, but that you could have that done, and you can see what it would do based on, again, how many people we're getting in there, or how effective the station is, and how many people actually have a television to watch. And what they'll do is they'll watch the TV or listen to the radio on their free time when they're not doing something else. So if they're not in a shopping center shopping, they will watch the TV. If they're not, playing football, they'll watch TV or listen to the radio, whatever. So this determines, see, we could take out a huge portion of the religious sympathy by going extreme like this. But you're also paying a price, because if we knock the religion too much, what happens in this case is we also start knocking down our cultural enjoyment. So we're actually going to hurt culture. Now, in this case, we could balance these two out. We could say, okay, if we didn't do this quite so much, it won't go down. I'm going to have to take something else up. We could balance it out with culture. Notice how the happiness goes up if we don't quite knock it so much and add a little culture in there. And we also notice that over here on the radio station, we got the same thing going on. We've got it pegging out, it's putting out a lot of culture. So it's doing a lot of classical music and I don't know if we allow 1980. Do we allow rock and roll in here? Maybe, probably do. But a lot of Russian composer, classical music, and whatever. So this one is driving up our culture, which actually is really interesting, because if you have that turned up high enough, you can actually not have a cinema. I mean, because I've watched people when they go get to their culture stage, if culture is one of their desires, they'll actually listen to the radio and get it fulfilled that way. They don't even have to go anywhere. So that's kind of nice. The preference for alcohol, that's another one we could tweak and say, okay, well, let's we got all these pubs and nobody's using them. We could bump up the desire for alcohol, make people happier, actually drive down the religion. That's kind of that sort of makes sense, and take advantage of all the alcohol we're producing. Or we could go the other way. I can't knock it down. I got to bring something back up. Let's go the other way. Let's bring our culture back up. Say we wanted to really drive the culture up, and what I'd really like to do is drive this down. The preference for alcohol, drive it down. So now people have no interest in drinking, but there's a price to be paid. They have more interest in praying. So if we drove it all the way down, they'd all become more pious, and then they'd want to be praying rather than drinking. And the good news is we could export lots of alcohol. So if we needed to boost our alcohol imports, and we weren't using our barely enough model, but we were actually maximizing alcohol, we could export even more of it because less people be drinking it. But I don't really have much. Alcohol consumption is really not that great anyway. I mean, it's no big deal. So let me see. What was this one? It was on 80% culture, I think. And the preference for alcohol, don't care about. Whoops. I want it neutral. Come on. Okay, so we've got culture. We're boosting culture, making people happier, but increasing the religion, which we don't want to do, and we'd rather have these neutral. We're also driving our loyalty down. Now, I don't believe that loyalty is actually in the game yet. The last I checked, and it's been a while, but the last time I heard, there is no loyalty in the game. It's just a mechanic that's going to be in there. But is it influencing escapes and stuff? I don't know. And if we got people really loyal, would they be willing to put up with more? I suspect that's how it's supposed to work. Don't know that it does yet. But let's see if we can't fix this a little bit. Oh, yeah, propaganda. That's the one I had. Okay, and drive this up to 80. Boy, these things are irritating. It'd be a much easier mechanic to use if it allowed you to just put these in and make them come up to 100, because it's the same thing with like your where do you go work, and you have to play with those numbers. It's a pain. All right, so now we've got this radio station set so that it's giving us a fair amount of influence, making people happy, and it's not impacting anything else. If we go over here to the television station, we did our big religion propaganda thing, but we notice our culture's down, but over here it's up by a similar amount. So kind of overall the net effect is pretty even. And that, keep in mind, that's because the rating of the TV station is much higher. It's having a bigger influence on people than the radio. What did I say? Television station is having a much higher impact on people than this is based on these numbers here. Look at that, 5%. You couldn't get a 5%. Well, let's just do that. Let's run our religion propaganda up to 100%. So that's all we're doing. See, notice the difference here. Let's just run them both up. All right, if they're both at 100%, the radio station, its rating, its kind of effectiveness is 20%, whereas the television station's 57%. Now, we have some more people working in the television station, but I have a feeling that even if they were even, the television station would have more impact. So it's a more impactful, what am I trying to say? A more impactful media than the radio is. Radio is certainly impactful, but the television is more so. And let's see here. So anyway, that's kind of how the mechanic works. Now you have to kind of decide what it is that you want. So I think what I'd like to do is keep that culture up a little bit. Why not? And maybe run 80 there and propaganda 20-ish. And the religion, we can eliminate that. And okay, so we'll just have our radio station be a nice, happy station they listen to for culture. It makes them happy, and it increases our culture and makes people happy overall. Now our TV station, I don't want to eliminate that culture. See how strong that is. And honestly, this they want to pray, and they're not happy. They're perfectly happy. I don't really think that the religion is hurting us. So let's go for something else. Let's see if we can't make people more loyal. Let's go for propaganda. Now, if we do it 100%, it's killing our culture. So let's balance it out with, there we go. We will increase our loyalty. We'll increase the happiness a little bit, and we'll have a neutral effect on the culture. So that way we're not eliminating the effect of our radio station. And so that's good enough. And so anyway, hopefully that helps you kind of understand how these work. We could have multiple of these doing multiple things, of course. We could build another radio station and have it doing a different impact. Now, I don't know how that would work in terms of cumulative. You've only got so many people out there that can listen to the radio. Can they listen to both stations at the same time? In the real world, no. In the game, I don't know. We could figure that out later, I guess. Or maybe if any of you know, if you've played around with this a lot, add a comment in there and help us all understand it. So there we go. We got radio and TV. Now, I need to kind of go back over the radio and TV again, because the thing I didn't even think about, was the number of viewers or the number of listeners. And if you notice, once I start this running, this is a load of a save game. So at first it showed 0. That's just because it hadn't fired up yet. But once I hit that run button for just a second, you notice we only got a handful of viewers on the TV and a whole bunch of listeners on the radio. So does that mean that the radio is much more effective because it's impacting that 20-some% rate on a whole bunch of people, and the radio or TV, which is very impactful, but only on a handful of people? I think that's how that works. And my guess, and this is just a guess, is that the people can listen to the radio when they're on their free time moving around, like between walking to the shopping center, going to the shopping, and then walking over to the pub, for example. They can listen to the radio on their portable, whereas the TV, they probably have to be home. Now, that's just applying real world, and as we know, that I caution everybody not to do that when you're trying to figure out game mechanics. You can use that as a guide or starting point, but you need to look at the actual game mechanic to see how it actually works. And if anyone knows the answer to that, is it TV while you're home, and radio while you're moving around, or how does that work? Please add that to the comments. But it looks like, based on the viewers and the listeners, that the radio right now is way more impactful than the TV station. The other thing you notice is that the radio station was built by our construction management. And these flats right here were built by our construction management. And I'm noticing when you get citizens, you get a bunch of error messages which don't even seem to make any sense. Really, they don't. The happiness of these people is outstanding. They're highly educated. They're, everything's going just beautifully for them. They're very happy folks. So we still got our clothing industry going. I think I've already talked about that. Yep, we've got our clothing industry going. Now over here, we have completed this area. So we've got, we're making gravel. We are making prefab panels. We are making cement. And we are loading cement into this silo, and we're using the cement to make prefab panels. We've got our coal production going in great shape. Coal production is now feeding the cement. It's also feeding our bricks industry, which is going just fine. We're exporting bricks. We're taking coal to the steel mill. Our steel mill is just inundated, and I will show you the other change that we made and the impact of that. Over here, remember we put in some more people. We got some more people in, and we ran more buses up here. And let's take a look. Here we go. 114 people are now showing up. And our coal ore production is good. And these guys are staying busy. And notice we fixed this too. We added some more people and more buses to run up here. And now these guys are getting outstanding staffing. We're keeping all of our power plants full of coal and well staffed, and we're even getting ahead of the game. Look at this. We've got plenty of coal to feed directly into our steel mill, which now has all the iron and coal it can use, even though it's creating steel at a pretty good rate. And let's see, pollution check, real fast pollution check. Looking good on the pollution. Again, I don't think the trees have anything to do with it. I think it's strictly distance and how much pollution are you creating. But we've got everything. Our steel mill is beautiful. Our power plants are great, and I still need to deal with the power. Our production over here is excellent for the meat, for everybody, for our maximized meat industry. We've got, the farms are working. We're doing all right. We're doing all right. This area is doing well. Everybody's happy. Did we look at the money? Last year, you notice we lost 4 million rubles. Yeah, kind of. Basically, if you'll notice there, I had one spike. I spent a whole bunch of money doing some building. Shame on me. And then, if we look at this year, we've more than made it up already because we've Well, because our economy's strong, and we have lost dollars so far, but we've lost dollars because, again, I did some building in dollars. So our economy's strong, our people are happy. We're getting a pretty big, pretty big republic here. Here we go. Get a view where we can see most of it. Our starting area. Oh, no, this is our power and meat. And this is our barely enough with the clothes industry. And here's Seldany with the chemicals and the farms. And what else we got? Down here's our big oil field and our steel mill. Up here, of course, is our buddy Artist Gilmore, which is creating boards, which is going to construction and to export. Then we got our starting point in Virov with our refinery and food and alcohol and clothes and chemicals and plastics and mechanical components. We got our TV station up here. So we're moving right along. So is that all we have? Well, no, it isn't all we have. We've got another one. I said I did a bunch of construction, so let's go look at what I did. What I did was take our model. Yeah, I'm going to have to turn around this way because you can't go out. Okay. I took our model of barely enough and built another barely enough city down here, but I improved it, I think, a fair amount because I rethought the design and set it up so that all these flats can walk to all these industries. So we've got our barely enough industries going here with limited workers for clothing. Actually, in fact, let's see, 80, this should be down to 20, there we go. And that one's set. Factories at 30, distillery at 30, that's good. Notice the distillery shut down and can't export anymore, that's fine, that's exactly what we want. We've got plenty of clothes, plenty of food. So we've got everything has the nice connections. I did a couple things differently. I've got a grain storage here for the food factory, and I've got a warehouse here that's connected to the fabrics and the alcohol, and we're going to put crops in here as well as some fabric and alcohol. And really, I'd rather have, well, it doesn't matter. That'd be a reserve, a little bit of alcohol over there. But the point is that all these flats can walk to all of this, including the education, you know, the schools and the university. So everybody who lives here can participate and work by walking. They don't have to get on, there's no buses, there's no nothing. They just walk to wherever they need to go, and all the way through university education and to their eventual work spot. Then we've got our farm out here set up to support it. And then we've got a large neighborhood right here. Now, what are they for? Well, their purpose is to supply people to this. We now have our first production line, and we're producing trucks. So what I'm doing here is producing the trucks that are then used in this area. So rather than buying trucks, we're building them ourselves. And I set it up with a design that's sort of everything's done by train, with exceptions. I'll show you an exception as soon as that finishes. Good timing. Basically, I just have kind of a crop circle or around a crop circle. So basically, this is set up as a one-way track that goes all the way around everything. And you have an exit point to go to a station, which is directly connected to the assembly line. And enough room to get in there without blocking up traffic. So you can come into either one of those two, do whatever it is you're supposed to be doing, and go away. And you'll still do that same loop to find your way in or out. I've got a train running. This track has two trains on it. One is an export train, which I've actually shut down while we make trucks for our own use. And then we can turn around, bring it back online and export trucks or make something different. I'm not doing any cars yet because I frankly, first of all, I don't want cars. I mean, why would you have this beautiful country that works without polluting cars and heavy traffic, and then go put a bunch of cars in it. But we'll probably play with the cars later, just to be playing with them. It's just playing. So I've got steel coming in from our steel mill, so we're not having to import any steel. We've got mechanical components coming in from our mechanical component shop way over here in over near Virov, in Borislav. And we've got plastics coming in from our plastics production. And the only thing we're importing right now is electronic components. It has a room for electronics, but there's no vehicles that use electronics. So I'm not sure if that's a goof or if they intend to add vehicles that take electronics or what. I think the components make more sense when you're constructing, assembly lining a product together, but just the same. And you notice we've got a few workers. It's not awesome. This area, as it grows in population, will do better. And this is where we had a bunch of escapes at one point because I goofed up. I didn't have these trains up there fast enough. I built the flats, brought in the people with Get Citizens, and then didn't have the trains ready. So we got a lot of unsatisfied customers there for a while. And on the hardest settings, which we're playing all hardest settings, you can lose some people in a hurry. Not crazy about this. I don't think I'm getting enough. There's a lot of people waiting. I think I actually need bigger. It's interesting. I've cut this down to 2 trains. They seem to run better on this setup back and forth from here to the town. But I actually think I'm actually going to get bigger wagons because these aren't big enough. That'd be the simplest way to put it. And I don't know if they'll fit in here in this small station. But let's just try that. Let's put it. I'm going to put in some bigger wagons and put them down here. And the other thing I don't like is I have diesel here, and I have the ability. These 2 trains can loop back over here, get the diesel, turn back around, and get back on their track. But that's a little slow because this thing really needs to hum and move in order to keep everything going. But anyway, what else is there? So we're making vehicles, and I said here, let's just start this. So once this truck finishes, I'll show you. Now, if we had a train here picking them up, it would just load on that train automatically. But what we're going to do with this one is actually assign it to this other depot over here. There we go. So it'll just drive itself out of there. So now we've got another truck we can use. And what we're going to do, my plan is, as we get these trucks finished, so I'm going to take that truck we just released, and we're going to give him a route. We're going to say, okay, we want you to go here, and we want you to go here, and we want you to pick up load crops. And I don't know why it's been doing the load, unload kind of backward. See, have they changed this? It's kind of weird how it works. We don't want you to unload anything. We want you to go here, and we want you to, yeah, it really is weird. We want you to unload all your crops. And I'd love a key where I could just automatically get all those, make it blank. And we want you to unload to your full. We want you to load to your full. Okay, so now we've got a truck that's going to start hauling crops over here to our silo to support our food factory. And as we get more trucks, we'll add a couple to go up here for the crops needed for the distillery and the fabrics, and maybe another truck here. So maybe 3 more trucks to bring crops out of our farms. And these farms are new. I've just set them up, so we haven't. They're not actually producing anything. You can see they're only 47% growing is the best we've got. So we'll start seeing some crops coming in. We're getting everything planted now. So so this I'm hoping will work very much like Jedva Devolshno and keep us in crops up here, and of course keep us with all the supplies we need, and kind of use our barely enough approach for that. And you can see it's very slow getting these things. It takes a lot of work days to get these things done, and not getting tons of people in there, but that should, as I said, this should be enough people to grow that to the point where we're getting a lot of people coming in. But I do need to address this. Well, do I? Let me look at the set. No, these people are really happy. Look at this. They're not perfect. They could be better. Let's run a little bit bigger train, and if we have to redo this track a little bit, that's okay. So let's do that. If I can find the depot, I'm turned around now. The depot, here it is. You notice those box cars. Those are leftovers from, I had two trains running the clothing, and I repurposed one of them and just said, no, we're not going to do that anymore. All right, so I want a cargo wagon, or a motor wagon. I think we can link these together, can't we? Well, let's just find out. Yeah, there we go. We can link these together, and I actually think what I'm going to do here, it's a little bit wasteful. But I'm going to buy two of them and go back down here and copy this line, this schedule, to these two. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. And go back to our depot and start one of these guys. Did he go? Where is he? Oh, you know what? He didn't start. Another one came in. Ah, shoot. And here's the problem with this design. Of course, it's nighttime, so you can't see. But when a train comes back in, these signals actually get messed up. It's a little bit irritating. And that doesn't help. The only thing I've found that works is to delete that signal right there to keep these things moving. Now the train that came back, that's the train that was doing our exports for, God, that's loud, our exports for the trucks. So let's try this again. It probably tried to start and then ran into that train. Just bad timing. So we'll start him. And we'll start him. When they get up there, we'll actually delete the other trains. And I'm going to put that signal back in because they flow better with it. A change signal. Right there. Okay, so what else we want to do? All right, so I want to kind of set some new goals. So while we're waiting on those trains, and I know those trains are going to cause a problem right here. This track, particularly this, is probably too tight. If it fits, beautiful. It might double that. It might fit. It might. In fact, let's just see if I can't move that signal out just a little. No, there's no room. I can't go anywhere else with that signal, so it might fit there. If it does fit, great. If it doesn't, then we'll have to do something. Okay, I want to set new goals. I want to have basically the same goal we already have, our stretch goal of making everything. So we're almost there. We are, what do we got left? We're actually making vehicles now. I don't even have them on here. And we're making cement. Thanks to our construction materials area we're making prefab panels. So the only thing we have left are electrical components and electronics. So we'll get into those businesses. So that's one goal, is to finish that off. And then I want to kind of set some goals based on, I think the number is 50. So what we want to do here now is, I think our goals to kind of finish this off are going to be to hit a population of 50,000 and to have $50 million and 50 million rubles. And that's going to, and have everything, we're making everything, we've hit 50 on everything, and to me, we're kind of done. And you'll notice we've only, I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on with this. We've barely scratched this map. With all this stuff we've built, we've barely scratched the map. So we'll see. When we hit the 50s goal, our next set of goals, we'll get that Dermont Award for being independent, and we'll have a lot of money and a lot of people and a lot of happy people, and then we'll see what we want to do from there. And so I'm going to speed this up until those trains get up there, and then we'll deal with that. Okay, so we're rolling into the area, so let's just see what happens here. Now he's going to have to go into an area that has the other trains running. We'll see if he causes any traffic jams. But he's working his way up. He's going to have to wait till the track clears. Here he comes up. Now let's just see if he fits. This will be the big deal. Well, he's not even on the right track yet. But let's just see. Okay, he's got a pickup, but he's going to have to... Oh, he can work his way over to the right track. Okay, he's cool. All right. Now the question is, does he fit on this track back here? And if he does, and when the other one comes up here, I'm going to just eliminate these two smaller ones and just let two larger trains run back and forth. I think it'll be he easily fits in the large station. That's not a surprise. Here, hurry up, get on down there. Now, if he fits right here, we're good to go. If he doesn't, I'll have to redo the track a little bit. And wow, that's tight, but I think it works. If he can go back out of there, we're good. Beautiful, beautiful. Barely fits, but fits. So you can go away. Thank you for playing. And our other one, here comes our other one. So you can go away. Thank you for your contributions. All right, so now we should have double throughput for our taking these people downtown. And now right now he's blocking this line, but after this run, he will start running and coming back this way and using the other track. And see, our workers got piled up because we had delays there, but this should settle back down now. I may even think about doing the same thing for the workers and running bigger trains. But I don't think, see, we're not having a problem with getting all the workers there. What I want to make sure is that we have enough throughput to get all the passengers over there before they time out. And there we go. The bigger trains are helping. And we do not need bigger trains for the workers. We're fine with the three that we have three smaller ones running. It's working just fine. So, and if we went with two bigger ones, we might not be fast enough to get them in time anyway. So this is cool. And as I said, there we go. We're getting a little better now. Oh, look at all these. Oh my goodness, how did that happen? We're starting to get better turnout. We've got more trucks made. So I want to get another truck, and we will assign it to here to get him to go out of the out of the assembly line. And then I want him to go over here and I want him to go. We'll make him the second truck for this. Now see, it does look, that's weird. Something's wrong here. It always did load, unload, load, unload. Maybe somebody complained about that, but the way it is now is definitely not right. Okay, and unload on your second spot. Forget going to there, and I think I may have that problem with this one too. Yeah, that actually is the first truck. I sent him to the depot, gave him a line, but I forgot to cancel his trip to the depot. So he's actually went to the depot and sets. So now let's get another truck. We'll tell him to go to the depot, and we'll give him a line of go here. See, it says unload. Wow, that's weird. Oh, maybe that's because I gave the depot command in there. Who knows? Maybe that's it. Go over here. That's probably it. We really want you to load. We want you to load crops. We want to cancel your trip to the depot. We don't want you. All right, load crops, then come here and unload crops. And yes, I am getting a hint of lag now. Not a lot, but a hint. Certainly playable and doable, and doesn't drive me crazy, but it's definitely there. And we want one more truck. And we want to tell it to go here just to get it out of there. And then we're going to copy the line we just created and give it to copy, give it to him. Now, why didn't it give him the whole thing? Heading to the depot. Wow. All right, this is a little messed up. Shoot. That didn't work at all. I want it to go load, and then I want it to go unload. Load 100%, wait till you're full, and then unload. All your crops and cancel going to the depot. There we go. So now we've got a couple of trucks running to this, a couple of trucks running to that. We're going to pretend that's enough. Then we're going to go up to our depot. And let's just make some more trucks. We can get into something else later. We'll get this guy and we'll tell him to start his run again. So get back out there and get to work. Now the interesting thing is when these trains come out of this depot, it doesn't mess up the signals. It's just when they go back. And this design, of course, I've said it before, this depot should be out on our line, off to the side, with a roundabout to go into the line, and none of this fancy stuff here, because eventually that fancy stuff has problems. But anyway, here we go. This guy now will work his way back down, all the way down there, and I'm going to speed up again, and we'll come back down, and you can see it and work, and then we'll call it a day for this episode. You'll notice the train, how he goes into the station, kind of goes around the circle, and then picks up his spot. Oh. And I've got him. I changed his line to keep him from loading because he was taking away all my trucks I wanted. So and then I decided to send him back to the depot to just get him out of the way. And I even had him running off to Zahalas for no reason. So Now we want him to load load vehicles, unload vehicles, and we want him to go to load next. So watch how he'll just go around in a circle till he finds the entry. Ah, shoot, I got him too late, I guess. Oh, there we go, yeah. He's going to go around in a circle until he finds the entry into his cargo platform that he's assigned to. There we go. And now he'll start loading vehicles. And there we go. And it'll take quite a while to build enough vehicles for him to do an export. But we'll let that run for a while, and then we'll switch over maybe and play with cars or whatever. All right, so where are we? We've got a pretty strong kingdom. I keep saying that. Republic. I guess I want to be a monarch, not a whatever you call it, premier or whatever. But we've got our barely enough kind of model working very, very nicely. We've got our maximized model. That's what this is intended to be. And you see we're getting more workers and more engineers now, so our production is going up. And we're supplying most of the goods. Our economy is pretty strong. I mean, we are definitely making profit. When I'm not out spending money like it's going out of style, we're doing very well on the profit. I think we've fixed this so we can grab all of our passengers now with the bigger trains. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Everything's going nicely. Our people are happy. We've got radio and TV going to make them even happier and to mold them into the kind of people we want. Okay, so next episode we'll just play the game a little bit and create another module. So I'll just record the whole thing, and we'll build a module like this. Only I think the next one's going to be probably electronics, and then we can set up the electronics to feed into this assembly line down here. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Workers and Resources Soviet Republic video. Thank you.